Well, the administration's court filing came just hours before Democrats rolled out a new plan, as the speaker just said, to strengthen the ACA. Their plan would expand federal insurance subsidies and reverse some of the damage done by Trump administration policies. For more, I'm joined by U.S. Congressman David Cicilline, a Democrat from Rhode Island. David, thank you so much, Congressman. And
my pleasure.
one thing I could never understand is why the Democrats didn't expose Trump. When he says, I'm going to keep protections for people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes, how can he say he's going to protect anybody when he doesn't have a health care plan and he wants to get rid of the only one we have, which is Obamacare? It doesn't make it. I'm going to save the tail on the cow, but I'm getting rid of the cow. What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, the president tweeted the Republican Party is going to be is the party of health care, and it's ironic at the very same time the president has directed his Department of Justice to invalidate the Affordable Care Act in its entirety, to get rid of coverage for pre-existing conditions. 20 million people will lose their health insurance. More than 50 million Americans will lose coverage for pre-existing conditions. At the very same time he does that, Democrats, we introduced today legislation to fortify the Affordable Care Act, to protect coverage for pre-existing conditions, to expand the tax credits, to lower the costs. So there's a real contrast between Democrats that are fighting to drive down health care costs, protect coverage for pre-existing conditions, and the president, though he says he's doing the opposite, is in fact trying to take away coverage, trying to end the ACA and rip away coverage from 20 million Americans.
I was struck by the emotion of President Obama just recently in the last several hours, really, when he talked to freshman Democrats, and he talked about how you got to fight for what you're willing to lose your seat over. In other words, you got to put all your bets, you put everything you've got, your entire career in politics, on one thing, pick the one you care most about. He said, in my case, it's health care. That's how important it was to Obama.
Yeah, and we all hear stories from our constituents, people, parents who used to lie awake at night praying would not get sick because they didn't have health insurance because they were born with a pre-existing condition, or people terrified that they'd lose their job and be out of work because they got an illness and couldn't get the kind of care they needed. People's lives were transformed when they have access to quality, affordable health care. This is a right, not a privilege for the few. Democrats have made that a centerpiece of our work. We're here to fight to protect it. And President Obama is right. It's made such a difference in the lives of millions and millions of Americans. And now the Republicans are back at it, trying to take away health care, trying to take away coverage for pre-existing conditions, while the president's tweeting that he's for health care.
I know, but he hates Obama so much, he wants to destroy his legacy. That's what I think. I think it's, don't you agree it's personal with this guy?
It's personal, absolutely. He, rather than start off with a big infrastructure plan, he gets into office, the first thing he wants to do is repeal Obamacare, because he can't bear the fact that President Obama led the effort to ensure that millions of Americans have access to high-quality health insurance.
Weren't you amazed when you got elected to Congress how bad the roads are, even in D.C.? Aren't you amazed at what Penn Station looks like in New York even now? Aren't you amazed that nothing's been done? Nothing.
And Democrats, we ran on an agenda, as the speaker just said, for the people of this country, driving down health care costs, driving down the cost of prescription drugs, a very serious effort to rebuild our country, a $1 trillion infrastructure plan that will create 16 million good-paying jobs. Work is on that already. The American people want us to deliver on the promises that we made, and infrastructure is a reality for everyone. People experience it every day, the quality of our roads, our bridges, our ports, our schools, and Democrats will introduce a plan to actually respond to that in a serious way.
Well, I don't know who picked you guys, but you, Cicilline, and Hakeem Jeffries and Sherry Bustos are fantastic. Whoever picked you three guys to talk out to the party.
Our colleagues did. Thanks.
Well, it's a smart move. You're all three great, and the other guys, too. Anyway, thank you so much. David Cicilline of Rhode Island. Coming up, former